What is up, everyone? I am Chris Knight, and you are watching Chaos Central. And basically, guys, this is on my channel right now, The Real Review 3000, but we're separating these out, putting them over on the Chaos Central YouTube channel. So please go look down in the description below, and you will see that if you are a person for punishment and gluttony and all that stuff, you can look right down here at the bottom of the screen, and you can type all that in and you'll get to our YouTube channel. Please go there and subscribe. We are going to be moving this over to the Chaos Central YouTube page as soon as we have 100 subs. We'll start doing the broadcast from over there. But today we are doing the rule of three, and Shaun is unavailable to be here today, so we have a special guest. This is Javion. Javion is Danny's brother. And I want to thank you very much, Javion, for being here today and helping us out with this. Thank you very much. Why don't you tell people
no problem at all.
Yeah, tell people a little bit about yourself real quick.
Not much to tell them. It's Danny's little brother in the comic books and all this sci-fi stuff like you fellas are.
There you go.
You don't have his channel, but maybe one day we get him on.
Oh yeah, if he keeps showing up on these things, we're gonna have to get him a channel. That's for sure. All right, and as usual, I got Danny from Comic Chats down at the bottom there, right there. Danny, go ahead and tell them a little bit about your channel and what you're about.
My channel is Comic Chat every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have the Chaotic Conversation, which usually involves myself, Chris, Maz, Mama Bear, Shaun, usually Terrence, and whoever special guests we have on there. We discuss one particular topic. I haven't come up with one for tomorrow night, but I will come up with one before the end of the day. Also on Sundays at 6:30, probably about 3 hours from now, me and Terrence and Javon will be on my other show called The Equilibrium, where I pose a poll question I put on every week on my channel. We answer that question. We also talk about different topics. I think today we're going to talk about Superman's Red Sun movie. I just saw it last night. It is awesome. So please join us at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on my channel, our channel, which would be Equilibrium, me, Terrence, and special guest Javion.
Cool. Yeah, you liking a Superman movie?
Hey. I was pleasantly surprised last night because I was like, what the hell? But this movie is graphic. Batman, which is in there, man. And here's a picture back here.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Batman ain't no joke, buddy. In this movie.
That's an interesting representation. I'll have to check that out.
Yep. It's in Russia.
And that's an Elseworld story.
Lex Luthor and I can't think of her name. Lois Lane are husband and wife in this movie.
Uh-oh. Your green screen fell down.
All right. Give me a minute.
I will give
that's
you a
one
minute.
of the that's one of those things that if Superman's ever the bad guy, Lex Luthor's the person that can stop him.
Mm-hmm. Oh, indeed. All right, guys, I'm going to tell you guys exactly how this works out. We have a wheel. The wheel has our topics, and we get 3 minutes for each topic. Each of us, it's 9 minutes total for each question. Then we take another 3 minutes and we discuss that topic as a group. If we agree, if we disagree, whatever, we tear it apart. We yell and scream at each other, maybe. It just depends. But yeah, that's how we do this. So we're going to wait for Danny to get back here. Make sure that we have... Oh, sorry, Danny. I kicked him out there for just a second accidentally. All right. Oh, Danny fell out. So, Javion, why don't we talk real quick about let's see here. I mean, like comic books. What's your favorite comic book?
I mean, I don't really have a favorite. I guess I got characters. I guess my favorite character is a Marvel character. Probably would be Magneto. But as far as just to DC and Marvel, I like comics. I don't care which one it is, as long as the story's good.
Okay. Favorite non-Marvel character. So like favorite DC character.
My favorite DC character.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. I don't know. So that one shifts a little bit on me sometimes because probably my favorite is Martian Manhunter just because he's so slept on. Like people really don't understand how powerful that dude is. And Aquaman, it'll be out of those two, just because I think the Super Friends back in the day really gave Aquaman a bad rap that
Oh yeah, no,
he's still trying
70s,
to recover from.
Yeah, the 70s, the 70s depiction of Aquaman really hurt
Just
what people thought of Aquaman, and I think it's funny because you watch. I don't know if you ever watch Big Bang Theory or anything like that, but like they even make fun of it there.
yeah.
The movie makes fun of it. Oh, you talk to fish, huh? It's like,
yeah. Robot Chicken did that.
Yeah.
The real world one time, the time with the Super Friends.
Yep.
And he was trying to talk to the goldfish and they wouldn't speak. Superman about trouble at home.
Yeah.
Like they give him hard time. But people
I'm
who
trying
read the
to figure
comics
out.
know that Aquaman is one. I don't know. It's like I say, DC. It's a lot of people in DC.
Mhm.
Some people in DC, I wish they do more with, especially villain wise.
Oh yeah, no, they get rid of, or not get rid of, but they don't talk to the or they don't use the villains that they should. There's a lot of villains they
don't use them with that Green Arrow series.
Oh yeah,
they Green Arrow, Flash, probably Green Arrow because he was I guess you call about street based. He so much that he was just a human like Batman. They should have had Onomatopoeia show up in that show. That would have been a good villain.
What's funny is, as you think about it, I mean, I know that every superhero or every major character within comic books, each individually has probably just as has their own villain. But what's funny is you see more of the superheroes than you do the villains. I mean, these comic book movies, like let's take Iron Man 3 for instance. They tease at the Mandarin in Iron Man 3, and then they totally just let you down because everybody wanted that to be the Mandarin. Everybody wanted the Mandarin in it, and then they
let you down with that Mandarin. Then they gave you a short showing that the real Mandarin
even then
revenge for that, but they never did anything else with that. Like they never brought back the real Mandarin.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, this Shang-Chi movie that they're now paused on making, but that they were making, supposedly the Mandarin will be the main villain in that, which would be neat to see. But I think I'd prefer to have seen it with. I think I would have preferred to see it with Iron Man, because if I remember right, that's Iron Man's main villain.
He's like one of my Iron Man's main villains. He's always after one of the Iron Man suits because he figured that suit with those rings would make him pretty much unstoppable.
Yeah. So, all right, Danny, are you ready? Danny, you there? Danny? Can't hear you, Danny.
Danny, can you hear me?
Hear me now?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You ready, Danny?
I'm ready to go.
All right. Here we go. All right. The wheel, as always, is right here. And guys, if you do me a favor, if you're watching this, please tweet us out. We appreciate it. Gets us out there so people can come in and watch this. Here we go. So basically, as I was explaining, we got our wheel of topics. We each get 3 minutes on these topics. Javion, since you are our guest, you will be the first on every round of this. Just so you know, you'll get to say what you need to say first. And as always, I will go last. So here we go. We're going to spin and we're going to see what the first topic is. The first topic is: would you like to see The Blackest Night as a movie or TV series? Would you like to see The Blackest Night as a movie or TV series? That is your first question. 3 minutes are up on this timer, and your time, Javion, starts now.
Me personally, I would like to see it done as a TV series, just because I think you can go more in depth, excuse me, with the characters, and you can get more of the story out without having to rush it and cut things out as much. Like, you can, in a series, you can have a little filler episode to show other side stuff that's not really directed to the main story, but it'll still let you know some of what's going on in the background, and that's a lot of story to cover with The Blackest Night. So it would, in my opinion, something that long would be better done in a TV series instead of trying to do the Marvel route of releasing this movie and 20 movies to get to the full picture of what they're trying to do. I think that easy. It'd be probably more cost efficient too to do it as a TV series, I would think.
Let me ask you this: would you do it as an animated series, or would you do it live action?
I'd like to see it done live action, just long as if they could be done to the level of something like Game of Thrones. Maybe not that last season of Game of Thrones, because that was some hot garbage. But yeah, I think I'd like to see it done live action. Just especially with the way that DC's going about the stuff of bringing the movie people into the television series. So if you wanted to branch out, I would probably do Blackest Night as a TV series and do Brightest Day as maybe the movie to follow that up, just so you would get the whole story like that. But that's pretty much all I got to say on that. I don't need to.
Okay, well, you got a minute left, but that's fine. We let you off on this. The weekly rumble, you don't get to skimp out of the last minute. But no, I understand. Yeah. So good points. Danny.
Okay.
Are you ready for your 3 minutes?
I am.
All right. Your time starts now.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Javion, but didn't they kind of touch on The Blackest Night during the Green Lantern series, animated series that came on a few years back? Yeah, I know they showed a bunch of the different lanterns. I don't think they showed the Black Lanterns.
I don't know if they would. I don't know if that Green was that. I didn't watch a lot of that Green Lantern series. Was it a darker series? Because Blackest Night is kind of a dark thing. I don't know if they touched
it. It showed Hal Jordan, and it showed him going across the cosmos. He encountered the Red Lanterns first, and I think he changed one of them. Then of course he went to that orange lantern you were talking about earlier. I thought they introduced the pink and the blue.
Yeah, I do. I remember him and the Red Lantern were together for a few episodes of that for a while.
Yeah. I definitely think that it would be beneficial as a TV series. I don't know how cost effective it would be, because special effects can kind of get up there a lot too. I know that's one reason why Supergirl left CBS and went to up there in Canada with the rest of them, because I heard it was like almost like $1 million episode, and her special effects won't be as nearly as complex as a Green Lantern special effects, all those different constructs and stuff. So I don't know how cost effective it would be. If you saw the last Green Lantern, Arrow on Arrowverse, it appeared that John Diggle got the Green Lantern ring. I don't know whether or not they're going to do anything with that. I'm hearing HBO Plus might get that show. Supposed to be developing that show. Now with this coronavirus stuff, I don't know if that's going to be put on hold or not. But I would love to see Diggle as a Green Lantern, and maybe do a different version of Darkest Night. Because if I'm not mistaken, Darkest Night is done with Hal Jordan as the primary Green Lantern, correct?
Yeah.
So I definitely think I would love to see it. Green Lantern has always been one of my favorite heroes. The different constructs have always been cool to me, a cool power to have. Did not like the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern. I just don't think he was right for that part. From what I've seen and read about Hal Jordan, he's a very serious person. He had a little bit of self-confidence when he first became the Green Lantern because of the issue he had with his dad and the plane getting killed in the plane and stuff. But once he got his stuff in check, then he's one of the most powerful Green Lanterns ever, and had willpower almost second to none. So I definitely think it would be beneficial, and I would love to see it in TV format, either on Disney Plus if Disney has right to it, or DC on Netflix, any kind of streaming service. I would love to see it, and I do agree with you that I think you can develop the story and expose more of the story better in that format versus going to the movies.
All right. Let's go 3 minutes for me. Would I like to see it in movie or TV? Yes, for sure. I agree. It's a deep story. So movie may not be the best way to go, but if you're going to do it live action, then you do it movie. That's my opinion. Yeah, it's going to take, I think you might be able to, with some real good writing, be able to fit that into like a trilogy, something like what they did with the Dark Knight trilogy. But if you're going to do it TV, the people who did Batman, the animated series, would be perfect for this. The ones that did the Mask of the Phantasm, all of those people, the voice characters, the voice work, all of that would be perfect for this. They had a really good handle on how this should be on how Batman should be handled. I would probably lean more towards that because I'm the same with you guys. TV can be handled a lot better. You can split it up a lot easier, work it into several series or several episodes, and really explore the depth of it. When you're dealing with that many characters, that much information, you can't just throw it all out there and expect people to follow it the way it deserves to be followed. So it would probably be better to do it like I said, Batman the animated series, which, if I remember right, they kind of touched on parts of it. I don't know. The animated series did a really good job of incorporating the comic books without blatantly ripping them off. They would take some storylines and things like that. So, I mean, the people who understand this group, this series, these characters, they're out there, and a lot of them are still willing to work on projects that are involved with this. So I would say absolutely I want to see it, but I would probably want to see it more as an animated series and literally call it, Batman the Darkest Night and make it a series, because it could.
Green Lantern.
This is Green Lantern.
Green Lantern? Oh,
Blackest
no, you're talking about the Blackest Night. Okay.
Green Lantern.
Batman is in it, though, isn't he? In there somewhere?
I don't know if he's in the Darkest Night. I think that's all Lantern.
You're thinking the Darkest Night.
No, Batman is in it because Blackest Night, it deals with everybody. A lot of people were dying and stuff. So, I mean, Justice League's in it. But
if you have the people with Batman, then do it. I didn't know that it was a Green Lantern that was.
Yeah, it's a Green Lantern story.
Okay. So definitely, though, then you want to make Green Lantern, you can do it with the same group of people. They understand these depths, these in-depth parts. Let's do this 3 minutes together. But I mean, I still think animated, and I still think somebody that
animated. I mean, it could go good animated. I would, like you say, see, the animation is what I get. So many different kind of animations. I kind of like to see it done as. Like, I'd like to see it done almost in the kind of animation style of the Boondocks. That's kind of like anime, but not quite Japanese anime.
Green Lantern. Go ahead.
I don't like the style of the Batman Chris was referring to. I know it's a good show and stuff, but I didn't like that 50s look, 60s look.
You talking about the Phantasm, the movie?
No, I'm talking about what's the Batman show you're referring to?
Batman, the
animated series.
Animated series. I didn't care for the animation. I mean, I like the stories and I like Batman, but I told y'all in the last thing we did Monday that the Batman was my favorite animation show. I just like the way it looked. I didn't care for the Bruce Wayne, but everything else on the Batman, the animation show.
I like the Batman, but I still think that the
animated series is like a how was it? Like an animated version of the Shadow movie. That's what it looks like. It's like that time period almost.
Yeah, I don't like that time period.
Oh, I like that.
It looked like 50s, 60s, but then he got damn 2000 technology. It just to me, it didn't jive.
I think they was trying to do a more of a what you call it, like a noir kind of look to it. I think that's kind of I guess because Batman's supposed to be the greatest detective, they was trying to give it that kind of Dick Tracy-esque.
That's kind of how it worked. And I don't know if it's noir. I mean, yes, was it noir? Was that the way it came across? Sure. But I still think that that's kind of how Batman was. And I think it did a really good job of exploring the different. Okay, we were talking about it before we started, Javion, or maybe not before while we were running. I can't remember now. But we were talking about lack of villain representation. The Batman the animated series had no lack of that. They dived.
They went through all everyone in Batman's rogue gallery.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's what really made it. And it's not just that Batman; it's
all of it.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So those people, I don't care who you grab, because some of them have worked on several of them together, and the voice actors have gone from one to the other. Some of them have. So that's what I'm talking about. The people who have made the Batman animated series, all of them, there are people in this that are really good about diving into the depths of characters. They treat it properly for the most part. Some of them go off and do weird, jokers and stuff. But that's what I'm saying is that somebody like that, and again, the Green Lantern has not been represented well in live action. So live action would be nice, but you got to find the right person. That's going to take a lot of time. I mean, they really, and I don't know if I jump right into. I mean, I guess it would be a good one.
It'd be better it might do better as anime, because also with that Green Lantern, you dealing with the four major Green Lanterns in that story. You got Hal Jordan, John Stewart, Kyle Rayner, and what's the other one with the red head that talks all the trash? Guy Gardner.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you dealing with all of them in that story on top of the Guardians of the Galaxy. So animated would probably be the way to go.
Yeah, and like I said, you can go into it, and then you could do 2 seasons, 3 seasons, whatever you needed to do to fully explore it, maybe.
That would have to be a series done like Justice League, where it would be Blackest Night for so many seasons till that was over. Then it would just turn into Green Lantern Brightest Day. And then finish.
All right, guys, here we go. Number 2. How do you think the mutants are going to be introduced to the MCU? How do you think the mutants are going to be introduced into the MCU?
Oh, you got 2 questions back to back.
Back to back.
How about that?
How about that? But I have no idea. I've been wondering on this about these mutants coming into the MCU. How would they do it?
All right.
I'll go first if you want me to.
You want to?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay, Danny. Here's your 3 minutes. Your time starts now.
What I would do to introduce them in, I would do it one mutant at a time. I would have maybe at the end of Black Panther or one of the movies that he's going on a secret mission, and also he runs across Storm. She's on some kind of secret environmental mission that's going to lead her close to Wakanda, and they kind of look at each other and feel that kind of physical attraction or whatever, and then they do a little love thing, whatever, in the next movie, and when they come back with the X-Men movie, that's how I would introduce, as her and Black Panther got together and then bring them in like that. Some people keep saying about how it's going to be hard to replace Wolverine. Now, I personally can see Keanu Reeves as the next Wolverine.
I've been seeing stuff about that.
I can see him all rough with sideburns. He get kind of that fighting style and crouch and kind of be more like he was in John Wick, that fighting style, along with the claws.
Buff him up a little bit.
I'd buy that. I know he's 50-something years old, but they can change that.
Well, you know, my perfect Wolverine way past his prime now. So
who's that?
Jack Nicholson. Go look at Wolf.
Wolf.
Dude.
Yeah, Wolf. Yeah, that'd be the perfect Wolverine. Yes, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right. He way past his prime. I can see the guy that plays Sabretooth, Liv Schreiber or whatever his name is.
Schreiber.
I can see him as Wolverine. There's been a big argument about, well, Wolverine should be short. He's too tall. Well, guess what? Henry Cavill has been rumored to be Wolverine. Henry Cavill is shorter than Hugh Jackman. So
Henry Cavill's not giving up.
I don't know. He's shorter.
He's shorter than Hugh Jackman?
Yes, Hugh Jackman is 6'2". Henry Cavill's like 6'1".
They're not as tall as people think they are.
Yeah. I didn't think Hugh Jackman was that tall. I looked it up, make sure. So I don't want to see the short, stocky Wolverine. Like sometimes things don't have to be comic book accurate.
No.
Well, I don't think you're gonna find somebody that's like 4 foot nothing, 200 something.
You don't really.
But that's
it
what
really don't matter what height you have.
The argument they're saying is he want to be Wolverine is short and stocky. I know he's short and stocky in the comic book, but guess what? You're not going to find an actor, in my opinion, that's going to fit that mold. So if it's someone that can bring across the gruffness and the aggressiveness of the Wolverine, is good with those claws and stuff, like Hugh Jackman, he was born for it, just like Ryan Reynolds was born for Deadpool. But just the same way, I think Heath Ledger is the best Joker. Joaquin Phoenix did an awesome job too. 2 different kind of products, but the same character. So basically, there's someone out there that can do Wolverine. In my opinion, that's Keanu Reeves.
Mm-hmm. I don't think with the height thing, Jonathan Rhys Davies played that dwarf in Lord of the Rings. That dude was Kingpin in the old Incredible Hulk with Lou Ferrigno movie back in the day. You remember what I'm talking about, Danny? Remember the Deadpool and Incredible Hulk movie?
Yeah, I remember
the Kingpin from that movie was the dwarf in Lord of the Rings. So they could shoot anybody to be the height of Wolverine if they really wanted to do it.
They could do it. All right. So how should they introduce him, or how are they gonna introduce him, Danny?
How should they?
I'll do it through Black Panther.
Okay, so you do it like in Black Panther 2?
Let him and Storm meet, and then they introduce him. The next would be a continuation of their meeting.
So in Black Panther 2.
Yep.
Okay.
Black Panther 2, I will let him meet Storm somewhere and then introduce him that way.
All right. So, Javion, your 3 minutes starts now.
I don't know. I've thought about how they could introduce these mutants for a long time. One way I would have done it, but they didn't make her as powerful in the movies as she would have been with Scarlet Witch. And I would have just had it that she had done something after the Thanos thing that made people just forget about mutants and stuff. Maybe she done something before that screwed it up, and they didn't even realize it. And then it comes to that when she does this, because that'll also retcon. If you did it like that with her doing something, it would retcon Quicksilver being dead as well. Because you can say, well, he really didn't die. It was just that when she did whatever it was she did, it caused that to happen. But that's how I would have seen doing it. But they made Scarlet Witch like they depowered her so much in those movies.
Well, in MCU, she's not even a mutant. She got her,
she's
got her power from the Tesseract. Yep.
I see that they do stuff like that. They did that in the Fox. Did that with X-Men. They made Juggernaut a mutant. Juggernaut is not a mutant.
Yeah, he's
Juggernaut
powered by magic.
Powered by Tesseract. Yeah. But the way you saying with the cutscenes at the end, that could be a good way to go about doing it. Or they could go to the Sentry approach and just say that they've known about them forever and they've just been suppressing it. Like it's something that S.H.I.E.L.D.'s been suppressing and hiding from people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways to go about it, but I thought the Scarlet Witch thing would have been good because you could have kicked into the House of M or something.
A lot of people are saying too that they're tired of seeing Wolverine. I mean, I think on the last stream,
my favorite of the X-Men team, but I don't know. The people who say they tired of Wolverine, the same people that hate Superman. I can't listen to them people.
I hate
I like
Superman.
you. See why y'all hating on Superman?
Because I think that we'll talk about this later.
I mean, Superman is Goku.
I ain't saying that I hate him, but I believe that a fully powered Goku or Vegeta could give him a handful, and people don't.
They could probably give him a handful. I don't think that he could just wipe him out, no problem. But I just think of saying Kryptonian physiology is just too much beyond anybody. That you get this strong from a yellow sun, and if Goku them was to screw up and got him closer to a blue sun. See, people talk about that red sun. They don't think about what happened when you go the other way. When you go to a blue sun, it's like twice as strong as what he is in the sun, the light of a red sun. I mean, of a yellow sun. When he get into a blue sun, and then he will be a god.
All right. Okay, I'll take my 3 minutes, and then we'll talk about this some more after that. All right, so you guys both kind of have the idea. We already know Scarlet Witch is in this, so we already have one. I like the idea of it being something involved with S.H.I.E.L.D., kind of keeping it secret. They know about it. They're not letting everything out, that this is not, that Scarlet Witch is not just the only one or anything like that. That they've been keeping tabs on it, much like they have the Galaxy's superheroes or whatever.
But she's not a mutant in the MCU.
No, but you don't have to change. You can change that. They can now, because that was written in because of what was going on. Now that they've got it, they can kind of gloss over that. That's not going to be the first time they've done it. But okay, but Xavier. You want to introduce Xavier. That is who this is. That's why they have that name. You want to do the same thing you did with Tony Stark, trying to get the Avengers together. In credits, you can bring Storm into Black Panther 2 and have her in parts of it, and maybe just lightly insinuate that it's Storm. And then at the end, you have Xavier come in and say, I need to talk to this woman, and you know where she's at. And you just start hinting at it, because you've got all of Phase 4 that you can use this and put him in the end of things, and he's going around trying to find this certain group of mutants to start the X-Men. And I kind of think that while Wolverine is my favorite too, let's back off of Wolverine. We don't need to bring him in yet.
I'd save him for the last if you're going the way you would.
Exactly. Let's show everybody else. He wasn't the main X-Men. He was just the most popular, probably. So I think you could do that. You bring him in and you handle it just like they did with Tony Stark going around trying to find the rest of the Avengers, or trying to talk people into this. It worked really well, and there's no reason to rewrite what worked well.
Maybe Nick Fury met with Xavier, and they.
Oh, that's fine too. You can show that.
Yeah,
show that. Like, I don't know. You could show
Nick Fury showing up at the academy.
Nick Fury comes to his school, and you've introduced Storm somewhat in Black Panther 2. He throws down a dossier and says, I know you're looking for people. Here's one for you. Because Storm was pretty much like his second in command. I mean, that's what people don't understand. Of all the X-Men, Storm was probably one of the more important ones, even though, like I said again, Wolverine is one people want to always go to.
Cyclops. Storm and Cyclops were the two, because I mean,
so in the first one, if you do it in Black Panther 2, you have you introduce Storm in it somehow, and then you have Nick Fury come to. I'm going to just start the 3 minutes so we can continue this. You guys jump in, but you continue by having Nick Fury come in to the to Xavier's Academy for Gifted Students. And he throws down the dossier. The dossier is on Storm, and he says, I know you're looking for people. I think this is one you need to talk to. Boom. Quick, simple. You've already introduced her. You don't have to say she's Storm. You can only imply that she has these abilities. You don't have to show it right off. You can hint at it, have her through parts of the movie. And then at the end, that's when you reveal this is who it is, because he'll open up the dossier. There's her picture. and you know why it's there.
If I was going to do that, though, I would start it off with Jean Grey, maybe, because by the time it's going to be some years going through before the movie's done, and it's supposed to be that Xavier finds Jean as a child. So I would let him get the picture of Jean as a child, but by the time you get to when the X-Men's there, that child it'd be enough years past that this child would be of teenage age and stuff. So when the movie's done, start shooting.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Then what you can do there, maybe.
I let him have 2 Darcys. I have one with Jean or Storm or whoever, and the other one would be with Mr. Sinister.
Well, how about this?
I see it. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, how about this? You want to introduce, he finds her as a child. So what you do is you can do that in another film and just have him put the dossier down, or however you want to introduce that one, because it wouldn't be the exact same scene every time. But what you can do is Nick Fury could be talking to him and says, "There's one more that we need to talk about. She's got, we think she's kind of dangerous, but we know you've handled her before, or you've dealt with her before." And you could do that where she can be an adult already. But if you did like Captain Marvel 2 and you still had that back in time a little bit or something, you have an opportunity to do like a flashback some point.
Show Jean as a child.
Yeah. But all you have to do is introduce her as an adult, but reintroduce her to him, meaning you guys got separated, but this was the first person you handled like this or something. I mean, there's lots of different ways to do it, but yeah.
Once they introduce him, I hope that they go doing something towards going to the House of X, or either Secret Wars. Because now they've got a lot of people, they could possibly do Secret Wars. They got Spider-Man that they can use now. They got the Fantastic Four. They got the X-Men. I mean, that's a lot. That was a good chunk of the people caught up in the Secret Wars.
Yeah, I mean, you got tons. I mean, well, here's the thing. We know that
would be a good villain.
We know that they got the New Mutants coming out, which is not MCU, but
according to Terrence, it's cursed.
Yeah, it is. Trust me, it's not going to do well. That everything you're seeing that is former Fox property or Fox property. These were all, and I'm going to go into this really quick. Disney bought them out. They said to the executives of Fox, the producers, all that, they had a big meeting and they said, "Bring us all of the current in production movies that you have." They did. And so they went first through ones that were just starting in development and basically trashed all of them and said, "They're gone." The ones that were either just starting to shoot were script written, they were already hiring cast and stuff. They looked at those individually and then picked through those, the ones they wanted to go through. The ones that were in the middle or already finished shooting, they went through those. And what they did, in my opinion, is they went through the worst ones and said, these can go on. Because think about it, there's Dark Phoenix, which a lot of people say is bad. I have not seen it. I will not say what I think of it. I know Danny likes it.
It's not that bad.
Okay, but the thing is they did that. The New Mutants they've passed on. They're putting through stuff that people they believe is going to be bad. I think they did that on purpose to kill off these series before they got started, or to kill off the X-Men series so they could come in and rebuild it the way they want.
They want to do it.
Yeah. That's Disney's way. I mean, that's just how they've always done. Even with the old cartoon movies, Cinderella, all that stuff. Anytime they got flack from people for changing something, they just went ahead and did it anyways because we're Disney. That's just the up and up on it. All right, guys. Last topic. With the new movies getting pushed back, do you think that the movie industry will have to double up on big releases or strategically reschedule every big release around the other? With the new movies getting pushed back, do you think that the movie industry will have to double up big releases or strategically reschedule every big release around the other? That is our topic. Javion, would you like to start?
Yeah, I'm gonna start.
3 minutes starts now.
I would think that they're probably gonna try to reschedule around the stuff, but then who knows? They said that if it hadn't been changed, that what was it? The Matrix 4 and John Wick were gonna come out against each other, like Keanu Reeves was willing to put two of his movies up against each other at the same time. So maybe it might be a thing in Hollywood now where they're not even thinking about that, because who was it not too long ago, Danny? You were talking about a movie that you didn't know, you couldn't understand why it was coming out against a Marvel movie. I can't think what it was. I want to think it was something coming out against the last Avengers movie.
You got to be crazy to go against Marvel, in my opinion.
And so maybe now they just, I don't know, they might just be they're gonna roll the dice and see what happens. But I would think
there was a Disney movie that came out like maybe a month or two before Endgame. I can't think of what it was.
I think it was Shazam that was come out close to it or something. And he was like, "Why would they?"
Yeah, it was one of those movies.
But like I say, if they're willing to put John Wick against the Matrix 4, I wouldn't do that. But if them two companies willing to do that, then I mean the rest of Hollywood might be willing to do it too, just to see. People gonna spend their money on what they want to see. I mean, if you go watch Star Wars 3 and 4 times, why would you not just go watch 1 or 2 different movies if they all coming out at the same time? I would. So if they put them all out at the same time, it would be a bonus for me, because I'd go see them. But who knows with Hollywood? You never know how they're gonna do what they're gonna do. But I don't see. Like I say, the rescheduling thing. If you try to reschedule too far in advance, then you're just gonna have a whole mess of every movie you got coming out from that point on being kind of screwed up. So what I would do is try to find a week or a month, and we just decide that we're gonna release all these movies right around this time, just to get them out the way, to keep our schedule on track for what's coming out beyond that. But they may not even be able to shoot movies right now because you can't go to a lot of countries. I don't think anything that was shooting in China, can people even go to China right now?
I don't think so.
Or leave. So I mean, movies that were going to be shot there can't be shot.
I don't know. Italy has a ban. I don't think you can come and go there either.
Yeah, there's a lot of places that are like that right now.
Or can they still go to Vancouver? Because like 99% of movies seem like they're shot in Vancouver.
Oh geez, Atlanta. There's some. There's
I mean, that's my 3 minutes.
you got for that 3 minutes, just not, buddy.
All right, Danny.
Can I get the question one more time?
Yeah, the question is, with the new movies getting pushed back, new movies that are currently being shot, movies that are ready to be released, all of those they're all being pushed back. Do you think that the movie industry will have to double up on big releases, or strategically reschedule them, or every big release around the other? Meaning, let's say, whatever, like you said, John Wick 4 coming out, and all of that. Do you think they're going to have to say, okay, so basically, do you think this is going to make their whole plan of, certain big release days, like 4th of July, March 15th, St. Patrick's Day, whatever weekend that falls around, there's certain release days, Mother's Day is one, those are the big ones. Do you think they're just going to have to abandon that and actually start doing like every other weekend, come out with these big, like a big weekend of here's 6 big releases? I don't care that it's a dead weekend. We're just going to have to do it. Do you think they're going to do that, or do you think they're going to be more strategic about how they do this?
Okay, I got you.
All right, 3 minutes starts now.
The powers that be are going to have to get together, and they're going to have to plan this out, be very detailed. They're going to have to compromise, because there is no way they're going to double up, because at the end of the day, one of the most important things they try to do in movie industry is that first weekend box office. So it'd be equivalent to Muhammad Ali in his prime fighting somebody, and Mike Tyson in his prime fight somebody on the same night. which one you're gonna go to see, because you can't go see both of them at the same time. So if they double up, that's what they're gonna have to choose. I want to see Marvel, or do I want to see DC? If you start putting them together like that, they're gonna lose money because they're not gonna get the weekend box office initially, because that's what kind of drives a movie or drives.
DC gonna go see DC, and
yeah, but there's a lot of people that want to see both. Let's see if there's an Aquaman 2 and Black Panther 2 same day. I mean, what you gonna go see? I don't know. And I like to go to movies if it's something I really want. I go that Thursday night. I can't go see Aquaman 2. You only get that one show on Thursday night, and go see Black Panther 2. I'm gonna be torn. So it's just something like that. It may be something not that important as it relates to movies, but I think they're gonna have to sit down and say, look, we'll give you Mother's Day if you give us 4th of July. We'll give you Christmas if you give us Thanksgiving. They're going to have to do that, because if not, they're going to be, what sense does it make to put X amount of millions into a movie if you're going to put it to compete against something that you know potentially going to cut into your profit? So that makes no sense. So I'm going to say, look, okay, I'll give you this, but let's put X amount of weeks in between before the next big one. They're going to have to do that. If not, then they're going to be just, in my opinion, throwing money down the drain, because some people, some families can't afford to go to see 2 or 3 movies a week, or whatever the case can be. No, I mean, I'm in a position now I can do it, but I don't have the time. I don't have the time to go watch 4 or 5 Marvel movies or DC movies or sci-fi movies, whatever, to come back here and intelligently talk on the show. I don't have the time to do that. So I want them to not double up. I want them to just say, look, you pick this, I pick that, compromise, make something. Because doing the double up, they're going to lose, in my opinion, they're going to lose money from people that may be willing and able to pay, but just don't have the physical time. That's why I'm all for the next evolution of movie going is streaming at home. I much rather stream at home. That way, if I got to take a crap or a pee, I can stop it, go do it, don't worry about it, come back. If I want to eat burritos and tacos, whatever, I ain't got to pay $10 million at the concession stand. So that is my opinion on that.
My 3 minutes.
On the Hollywood app.
I'll go ahead and start. I'm going to start by saying, first off, I think it's going to have to be a lottery. I think and I agree with you, Danny, it's going to have to be like a round table of all the head honchos of the big studios and say, okay, so here's the thing. What's your big one? What's your big one? What are the biggest releases? What were you hoping for the most money from what? Okay, so Black Widow, if that's your big one for the year, we're going to release that. That's going to be your first release. Wonder Woman 84 is going to be your first big release. They're going to pick out the top release of all of them. I'm going to give you 3 weeks by yourself. We're going to have to space this out. Every 3 weeks, we're going to release a big one. Disney, and then pick. How about this? This is how you pick. The first big release, the company who wants it donates a certain amount of money to charities that are trying to help us recover from COVID-19 problems, be it to a hospital or whatever. That's how you do it. Have the Hollywood industry try to show that, hey, we're trying to help everybody too. Even though we were hit, we want your help to watch these movies and give us support back. We're going to show you, we give you the same support. By doing something like that, I think you can show camaraderie amongst this country and other countries for that matter. Now, Kathia in the chat says, why pay for a ticket that costs the same amount of money as a month of streaming? You don't have to choose which movie. You can still binge them. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people are talking about the streaming thing, and we got some other questions we'll jump through really quick after this, just to try to get through it really quick. Why is a streaming service, if these companies decide to go and put these big releases out in the streaming service, they're going to drastically raise their prices because they've got to make the money from somewhere. And she brings up the point exactly. If it costs me $10 a month or $15 or $20 a month to stream or to buy a streaming service, I can buy all of them for, let's say, $100, watch as many of these movies as I want. Well, they're missing out on $15 a pop So 100 people do that. They're looking at $1,500. They're only going to be selling their streaming service for, $500, $600, $700 less than what they would have made. They're losing money on it if they do it that way. So they're going to raise those prices up to make their money back. So I don't know if I want to see it in streaming yet.
Maybe they could do it like a pay-per-view, like each event.
And that's what they've talked about doing. It's like $19.99. But the thing is I can
more
still
than that. If you get a WWE,
but I can still invite 15 people into my house and we all watch the same movie. I've just spent $20 where they would have made, $300. Again, they are severely putting themselves in a bad position if they do it that way, because they're going to lose more money than if they just wait and try to do it in the theater. I think.
As long as Corona holds on, that's going to start looking pretty good now.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Right now, they're getting nothing.
That's true, and that's the thing. I think that we are at a place where this is kind of all dependent on how long this lasts. Now, the thing is I'm one of those people. I won't tell you not to go and shelter in place. I'm not going to tell you to not do what they tell you to do. I think it's a little overdone. I think it is, but that doesn't mean that I won't follow those rules. I'm not one of these people that think, oh, well, I don't like how this is. I think it's overdone, but I'm going to go do what I want. I know I'm a nice person. I want to make sure everybody's safe. So I follow the rules. That's how I do it. But I think this is overblown. I think that we're looking at this much bigger than what it is. And really,
I think it's one of two things. I think it's overblown, like you said, or they're hiding something. That if it gets out, it's going to be worse than what we're going through now. So
I mean, of confirmed cases to deaths, it's like 4%, but the recovery rate is at 40% or something like that. It's almost a 10 to 1 chance for every 10 lives, one will die, which isn't that much. And I think that as the numbers keep coming out and more people test positive for it, we're going to see that these numbers are going to be drastically more like the flu, or even less than that, like the cold. There's a lot of things that are just not getting out there as far as what we know, because there's just not enough testing. And right now they don't want everybody testing. They just want to know those people experiencing symptoms. So, but I think that their best bet would be to use this as a charitable situation, kind of work with the cities, work with the theaters. Hey, Disney's going to get the first big release because they're going to donate $1 million or, $1 billion to the relief effort of trying to get these people supplies, or try to normalize society again from this, because this is going to take a while for everybody to get out of. And like you said, Danny, the longer that we go in this, it's really going to affect everybody. And, and movies find a way to release these movies in theaters, and actually a way to help with that normalcy. It would show a good.
If I were Disney, I would be on the cutting edge, and I would start streaming some that maybe they don't think, I don't know if I do Black Widow,
New Mutants.
But the next one I would be like, yeah, let's throw it out there, because that's.
Yeah, they could definitely go ahead and release New Mutants.
What I would be doing. I would be going through all I don't know how this is going to do. All these ones that were going to be off weeks and stuff like that. That's definitely what you should do. Those should go to the streaming services.
That might be the way they could crack the code to China and get R-rated movies in there. Because it's going to be hard to block the individual person from purchasing something on the TV or streaming device, versus you're not going to show an R-rated movie in the theaters at all in China. So you might want to look at that. That might be the way to get their toe in the door.
Yeah, Dandelion Fluff says extensive testing is how you get a handle on this situation. Like Schoolhouse Rock says, knowledge is power, and it's true. Right now, they're just telling people, if you don't experience symptoms, don't get tested. Well, I think if a bunch of us got tested and we found out, oh, hey, I have it, but I don't feel anything, then we're going to find out that this is more like the cold. People kind of have the sniffles, people have this, people have that, and they just keep going day by day. I'm the firm belief, and I'm not trying to cause fear. I am just giving my opinion. I'm of the belief we've all been exposed one way or another already, and that we are what we are. It's going to happen however it happens.
You're talking that Walking Dead shit. No, what are you talking about?
No, I'm not talking about that. Perhaps.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't all of them gut it? And when they die, that's when it manifests.
Yeah, that's true. But
Yeah.
no, I don't. I mean,
Or if they get bit.
Dandelion and Katia Star telling their age. That stuff when I was a little boy. Conjunction, function, what's your function?
Schoolhouse Rock had a resurgence back in the early 2000s. They showed a lot of the old ones and they made some new ones. Okay,
I love that one.
Let's get to the topics we didn't get to. We're gonna go ahead and get rid of the screen. Okay, so because we had some good questions in this today. So one of Danny's. Do you think Disney, Warner Brothers, Sony, and all the other big players in the game will consider streaming since coronavirus has shut down theaters and people's ability to go out and watch movies? Now, this is continuing our last question, kind of, but we're going to continue down this road. In answer to your question, Danny, yeah, I think most definitely they will consider it, but I think that their better option, like you said, is let's find the fluff that we normally release on off weekends, the stuff we're not 100% positive about. For Disney, it's all these Fox properties they've went ahead and greenlit to finish up and stuff. They've got a lot of these in the can. Let's just get them out and we'll see if it does really well. If a movie does really well on streaming, like if you are getting millions of hits on that one movie, you know what? Pull it. Do a math equation and figure out, oh, look, in the first day we had 500,000 people watch this movie. Pull it. We're going to put that out. We're going to release that because obviously people are interested in it.
If I was James Cameron, I'd be begging for them to let me release Avatar 2 on there.
Is it in the can?
I think it is. There ain't no way. It's been 11 years since.
Yeah, no, but they just started on it again.
Forever.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I mean,
I don't think
that's something that should be in a streaming service because I don't think that's going to take.
You need to do something with it because people gonna forget about that movie.
Yeah,
it's taking forever.
It's been 11 years.
Mm-hmm. Well, they just started reshooting on them, and they're going to shoot 5. I've heard they're going to shoot 5 of them one after another.
Jesus Christ!
Great day.
It's like why are you going to do that? Or 4 or 5? I can't remember. Anyways, yeah. So the streaming service. Are we all in the agreement that the longer this goes,
you're trying to outdo like Harry Potter did like 2 in a row.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I think.
As how they did the Lord of the Rings. I think Lord of the Rings they shot all 3.
Yeah.
At the same.
They did Endgame and Infinity War like that. You can't. Sometimes that stuff works. Sometimes you get 11 years. That's too much time, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. So we're all under the impression that the longer this goes, the more that streaming service is going to become a option.
It's going to start looking good.
Yeah. Well, the problem then is that they really won't be able to. Here's the thing: the longer people go without working, the longer we don't have money coming in. The first thing people are going to drop is a streaming service.
Yeah.
So
some people are going to set aside money for recreation.
That's true. Now, absolutely, because the first place you want to go when this stuff happens is recreation. That's why when they took all the sports off, they took all, they killed the March Madness tournament. Mm-hmm. As soon as they started doing that, people really are like,
where I work at, it's a big lake, and my supervisor told me, he said, lake is packed down here today.
Yep.
I know that's because they got nothing else to do, but they can go out on that lake and drink and fish and socialize. So I think you're going to see a lot more of that. Some places and some businesses are going to benefit because of this. Like grocery stores, man, I bet you they laughing all the way to the bank now because
you
see everybody in their mama in the grocery store now.
Hollywood will still make some money if they do the streaming service. The theater is not going to make any money like that. They money is a concession. Yep. Nobody's coming there. I mean,
that's right.
That's true.
That's who Hollywood. That's who the lottery need to be. Somebody need to be paying these theater people for.
Yeah, I did a
gospel put out first.
I did a gospel according to Chris with Honstar, and we did that. We talked about where movies are going, and quite possibly theaters could be out. They could be heading out the door. You'll have 1 or 2 theaters in every city that are there for nostalgic purposes. They'll get
closed down.
Well, no, I mean the in general, I think the ones this is really going to hurt is the big movie theater companies, AMC, Regal,
IMAX.
Yeah. Well, IMAX is a brand of shooting style. But yeah, I mean, I think the small theaters, the mom and pop, the little, small town ones. I think that they can weather it because they can always go back to showing old movies. They can always keep the nostalgic side of it. But the bigger companies are really going to get hurt by this because they won't show the 30, 40-year-old movies. They'll just show the new movies. And these smaller theaters will show older movies. They'll do the horror festivals and stuff like that.
I would do it right. Like the letter of the law says 50 people. Well, in South Carolina, it says 50 or more people can't congregate.
Yeah.
So I will let 50 people come in exactly, or maybe 45.
Well, here in Kansas City, they say no. They basically told all of them, no, you can't have anybody there. 10 or less is what we're at.
We're at 50.
The federal government has suggested 10 or less. So there's the problem is you're really making it hard on these companies. What's the rule? What can I get away with? What can I do? All that.
So I watched last press conference and President Trump said that he's going to let each governor kind of handle it.
Yeah. So we're 10 and under here.
50 different opinions.
Yeah, they've suggested 10 and under. The federal government has not said yes, this is the way you go. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing. And I'm not a big fan of Trump. I make that very clear, but I will give him this. He is doing what he's supposed to be doing. The governors are in charge of their states. That's how it's always been. Let them do it. And if something changes, you can make that direction and say, okay, well, the governor of South Carolina, you're not handling it right. You've just had 150% jump in 2 days, two consecutive days. You're not handling this correctly. We've suggested that you do 10 or less people. We've suggested this is what our guidelines are. This is what we want you to implement if it needs to be done that way. If it's not, like I said, if you see a governor not handling it properly, that's when you go after him and say, this is what you should be doing.
I agree.
Yeah, so let's go with what does this shutdown mean for actors and actresses who are signed for multiple movies? Will those movies need to be recasted, or will the movie companies adjust for the crisis?
Some are going to be recasted. The ones that already ink and promising that money, then they're just in trouble. Mm-hmm. I don't think that the actor, I don't know if it's going to depend on that individual's conscience or his or her financial situation at that time. If they're already signed it, then they might hold the company feet to the fire. If not, then I'm pretty sure they'll renegotiate. But a lot of things is going to depend on how quickly the CDC says, okay, all clear. If it's 6 or 7 months from now, it'd be one scenario. If it's a year or two from now, it's going to be another scenario. So I think the length of time that we are in this semi-quarantine state is going to depend on that. There's nothing that you can just say one way or the other. Yeah. Whether or not they're going to be recast or whether or not they're going to push it back. I'm pretty sure now because of this, contracts will be made and said in the likelihood of some kind of natural disaster or act of God.
I'm sure they'd probably say something about that anyways, but I don't know.
Probably.
Javion, what do you think?
I don't even remember what y'all was talking about. I was listening to y'all go. So,
okay, yeah. What does this shutdown mean for actors and actresses who are signed for multiple movies? Will those movies need to be recasted, or will the movie companies adjust for the crisis?
I think adult movies probably not so much, but any movies that were coming out that had child stars are probably going to be.
Hold on, okay. I think Danny and I went to the same
not adult movies like that, but movies that got grown actors in it are not going to be affected too much because those people, for the most part, are going to look the same. Yeah. But if you got movies where you got little children, a child had to be the star of it, that child's going to be rolled up if it goes into a year or two. I mean, they'll look completely different. Voice may change anything.
That's a good point.
So for movies that's already starring adults, no, that won't be. I don't think that'll be too much of a problem. But like I say, if you got stuff coming out with children in it, depending on how long this holds up, or something that has a baby, I mean, you got to recast that baby. You got to recast.
I didn't even think of that.
Yep. All right. Let's see here. There is rumor that Rosario Dawson is being eyed to play Ahsoka. Ahsoka in Mandalorian
Ahsoka.
season 2. Do you think she can pull off that iconic character?
That is my question, and my answer is hell yeah.
I think
her.
she can. I think she kind of looked like a sucker. I mean,
I can see her. I can see her that white and blue looking hair, or whatever.
She's got the facial structure. The lips look very similar.
Yeah, let's say.
I just don't know. Well, she done a little bit of fighting when she was in Luke Cage and on Daredevil. So she's been around that. So if she learned to fight style,
fighting in Death Proof.
Yep.
So I definitely think that'd be a home run if it's true.
I think you can do it.
I'm hearing today they also thinking about putting Ezra in Mandalorian as well too. So that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. All right.
I wish Disney hadn't
the what?
Hadn't the 86 Star Killer.
Oh, dude. Yeah. All right. What is your go-to thing while you're shut in? Which you guys aren't per se like the rest of us. Like a lot of us are in a shelter in place. But are you guys, first off, let's ask you that. Are you guys first off practicing not going out unless you have to? What are you guys doing?
Well, I can't speak for JVN, but I have to go out. I'm
talking about when you're not working.
I usually stay close to home. We've not go through a lot of drive-throughs. We're cooking more. In fact, we just cooked the day before I came online. I go through mainly this right here. I haven't been on since Monday, but it's because of, like I said, my profession. But as long as I can talk, interact with people in some shape, form, or fashion, I'm good. And if I can't, I got Disney Plus and CW apps, so I catch up on my material for the show.
Cool. All right.
Here at the house with my Xbox and my streaming services.
Yep.
And that's it.
Last question we'll just run through real quick. If streaming is successful for these companies, for the movie companies, do you think it's the beginning of the end for movies, for the movie going experience?
Going experience. Yeah.
Just like the drive-in. It used to be, I can remember I saw Purple Rain in the drive-in with my aunts, my grandmother. I can remember that just as good as yesterday. And Lake City had Lake City is the town we're from, had one of the last remaining drive-ins in the state. It got closed down. How long ago, JB? Maybe about 15 years ago.
Now.
15, 20 years ago, maybe.
There's a church there now.
And I think there's one in the upper state. But the same way drive-ins evolved to movie theaters, I think movie theaters is going to evolve to streaming because it just makes sense.
Yeah. JV?
I mean, piracy about killed the theater going experience for a lot of people anyway.
Yeah.
Just because a lot of people would rather just watch something streamed off of a site than go to the theaters.
Yep.
And for some movies, I could do that, but I mean, certain movies I want to see on the big screen. I want to see all the Avengers movies on the big screen. I want to see Justice League I just want to see that kind of stuff on the big screen.
Yeah, just like the Fire Stick and what's the little box?
Roku.
Khaotic box. I had all that stuff, and it was good at first, but it's too much. It's too much work. You got to keep updating it and downloading this and downloading that. Okay.
Well,
I don't mess with it.
You see, we still have drive-throughs here, and there's drive-throughs in other places. Those have become kitschy. They become like nostalgic. You know, they do it. They still
have drive-ins there.
Yeah, and they still show new movies, but they've gone to better technology, so you can either stream it.
It goes to your car radio now.
In your car radio, so you can keep the windows rolled up in case it's raining. A lot of them have gone to bringing you the food. You can order online and have them bring it to you. They're trying to do things to keep people coming in. So we have 2, I think, left here in Kansas City that are open from like April to October or something like that. And they close down for a few months, do painting, do stuff like that. But I think movies are going to go the same way. Or movie theaters are going to go the same way. I think AMC, Cinemark, Regal, all these bigger ones are going to have a hard time. You might have 1 or 2 multiplexes in a city to instead of like 10, 15, 20, whatever they got now. But these smaller ones, these ones that do like these horror fests and these, let's go see Star Wars, the original trilogy. They're going to show it this weekend, all, one to the next, all at one time. Those theaters will stay open because they have this niche that people will go. But I think that the longer this goes, a lot of these bigger ones are going to have to cut back heavily. Car companies did it for a while. Well, think about your trains. Trains used to have multiple companies that you would go to and get train tickets. Now the federal government had to bail them out and basically bought the train service. And now the only passenger train service is a federally run company, Amtrak. I'm wondering if that's not going to happen to the airlines eventually. There's a lot of that stuff that we're seriously going to have to question now. But so with that said, guys, go ahead and Javion, thank you very much for coming on today. I appreciate it, helping us out.
Oh yeah.
And then Danny, you go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you.
Again, my name is Danny. My channel is Comet Chat on YouTube. On Twitter, it's Comet Chats with an S. I have a show every Monday night on the Chaos Central network that me, Chris, and Shaun are combining to and trying to get material to put on there. My show, which starts the week, is called The Khaotic Conversation, where I usually have a topic we discuss, mainly rank it, see which is worst to best. And also, I have a show with a good friend of mine, Terrence, on Sundays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time called Equilibrium. And on there, we mainly talk about a specific poll I put up, a specific movie, and then we usually feed off of the chat and get material that way or get questions and conversations started that way. Cool. But please, like I said, just join me. My subscription is starting to lag a little bit. That's probably on me, but I'm going to pick up the pace. I'm trying to get 1,500 subscribers by Father's Day, which is the third Sunday in June. I can only do that with your help. So please help me out with that. Thanks very much.
And then Tuesdays normally is on Shaun Stackhouse's channel, the Chaos List. But this week, I don't think we're going to be doing it. Shaun's got some stuff going on this week. So I think we'll be over on Danny's channel tomorrow. And then maybe, Danny, you and I can get together and maybe do something on Tuesday. I don't know. We'll see. With that said, guys, everybody say goodbye to the chat. Thank you very much. So back
later.
The Ninjroid, I think, might have been in there for a minute. All you guys, Stieg. Thank you very much, everybody. Say goodbye. Bye-bye.